Hello students, welcome to class 12 physics class. In last video we discussed the derivation up to derivation that circular magnetic field due to a circular loop. Okay, with the statements. And in that preview first video of this chapter we explained Ampere's circuitual law and its application, that is solenoid, but there is no statement, only the mathematical steps are there. So today we discuss from the Ampere's circuitual law with the statement, how you can write the statement, that and the solenoid and the toroidal solenoid. So first we discuss the Ampere's circuitual law. We know that in our first chapter, that is electrostatic, we studied the Gauss law, and also we studied the Coulomb's law. That is the first topic of that chapter. So we can say that the Gauss law is the alternative form of Coulomb's law in electrostatics. Similarly, the Ampere's circuitual law as an alternative form of Biot-Savart law in magnetostatic or in magnetism. Biot-Savart law we discussed in last video. So today we discuss the Ampere's circuitual law, or you can say that the Gauss law and the Ampere's circuitual law are nearly similar to each other. Both are applied on a closed loop, for a closed loop, that is for the Gaussian surface, and here because it is a Ampere's circuitual law, so that loop is called Amperean loop. Okay, that is also the closed loop. So what is Ampere's circuitual law? Ampere's circuitual law gives us the relationship between the line integral of magnetic field and the total current I, which produces this field. Okay, that means the relationship between the magnetic field, line integral of magnetic field, and the current I. So the statement is, Ampere's circuitual law states that the line integral of the magnetic field, that's why we use the closed integration sign. Ampere's circuitual law states that the line integral of the magnetic field B around any closed circuit, this is very very important. If you don't mention this circuit, closed circuit, then half marks or some marks will be deducted. That means the Gauss law also applicable for only the closed loop or closed circuit. Ampere's law also applicable for the closed circuit. So the Ampere's circuitual law states that the line integral of the magnetic field B around any closed circuit is equal to mu 0 naught. Mu 0 is a permeability constant, time the total current I passing through this closed circuit. So that means if it is a closed circuit, if I amount of current is passing through this one, so the magnetic field produces by this current, that will be equal to the mu 0 times of this current I. So mathematically we can write line integral. So that's why we use the closed integration sign. B dot dl, that is equals to mu 0 into I. This is a line integral, and in a very simple way, the Ampere's circuitual law states that if the field B, B means the magnetic field, is directed along the tangent. If this is the magnetic field, this is the direction of the magnetic field, this is the magnetic field, this is the direction of the magnetic field, that means the tangent to every point on the perimeter L of a closed circuit. Perimeter, so suppose this is a closed circuit, this is a perimeter of this circuit, that will be L. So on this perimeter, at each and every point, the magnetic field directed along the tangent and its magnitude is constant along the curve. So we can say that B into L, that is equals to mu 0 into I. B into L, that is equals to mu 0 into I. If we consider the whole loop, that is a perimeter of this loop will be L. DL means a small part, through a small part, that will be applicable for, or the mathematical expression for that small part, this is this one. Okay. So I is the net current enclosed by the closed circuit, And the closed curve, this closed curve is called the Amperian loop. As per the Gauss, how we can, when we apply the Gauss's law, first we select one Gaussian loop or Gaussian surface. So similarly here also, when we apply the Ampere's circuitual law, we also apply Amperian loop. After that, inside that closed loop, we apply the magnetic Ampere's circuitual law. Okay, how we can prove this one? For a straight current carrying conductor, suppose this is a straight current carrying conductor through which I amount of current is passes. So from Biot-Savart law, the magnitude of the field B due to the current carrying conductor at a distance r, suppose at a distance r, here any point is here, at this point the magnetic field, that will be B equals to mu 0 I by 2 pi r, because we know that for infinitely long straight current conductor, the magnetic field at a point, at a distance, at a point will be this one. We already proved this. So mu 0 I by 2 pi r. Now here you see that in this figure, the magnetic field B is directed along the circumference of this radius with the wire as center. This is, if this is a circular loop or circular surface, so magnetic field at each and every point will be the tangent with this r. So or we can say that the magnetic field B is directed along the circumference. This is the circumference of this closed circuit and its radius is r. From any side, if you draw this side, this is also be r, this r, this r, this are already also same. This is the radius of this circular wire. Okay, so the magnitude of the B for same for all the circuit on the circle, here whatever the magnetic field, here the magnetic field, here the magnetic field, it will be same. So now if we consider a small current element dl, a small current element dl, okay, small current element dl, and this dl and B are directed along same direction. So we can say that the angle between dl and B will be 0. So what we can write, B dot dl equals to B dot dl equals to B dl sine cos 0 degree, that is equals to B into dl. Okay, so hence the line integral of the magnetic field along the circular path, this is integrate both sides. So integrate B dl, B is a constant because B value is same at each and every point on the circumference of the circle. So B closed integration dl. dl is the nothing but the this is L, the length of the circular loop. So B value is given from here, mu 0 I by 2 pi r. So we put it over there, mu 0 I by 2 pi r into L. Okay, and L means the total length of this circular loop. That means this is a circumference, nothing but the circumference of the loop, circular loop, and this will be 2 pi into r. So in place of L we can put 2 pi into r. So this one constant cancel. So we get closed integration B dot dl, that is equals to mu 0 into I. So this proves the Ampere's law. And this law is valid for any assembly of current and for any arbitrary closed loop. It is, keep it in your mind, that is applicable only for the closed loop. Okay, one application of Ampere's law to a straight conductor, similar here, that will be similar. So here in this figure you see that the circular loop, one circular loop has radius r around a infinitely long straight wire, current carrying wire, through which I amount of current is passes through. So as the field lines is circular, the field B at any point on the circle will be same and is directed along the tangent to the circle. So we can write, so at each and every point the magnitude of the magnetic field B is same. So we can write closed integration B dot dl, that is equals to B dl sine cos 0 degree. If we consider a small element dl, so we can consider this whole circular loop as a summation of this dl, this dl, this dl, that means total circumference. So B closed integration dl, B 2 pi r, this is a circumference. So from Ampere's circuitual law, this is equal to the mu 0 into I. If we apply a magnet, because B dot dl, that is equals to mu 0 into I from the Ampere's circuitual law. And here also we get one equation, that is closed integration B dot dl, that is equals to B into 2 pi r. So this equals to mu 0 into I, so B equals to mu 0 I by 2 pi r. So this expression we apply here, and here we prove this one. This expression we used here, and this expression we proved here. This will be the application of Ampere's circuitual law. Another one application also, that is the solenoid, magnetic field of a solenoid. Solenoid means, you know, that the an insulated copper wire wounded closely in the form of helix or in a cylindrical shape, that is called solenoid. It is a Greek word. Its meaning is channel. Okay, and using the polarity of the solenoid, at any end of the solenoid, that means which end will be the north pole, south pole, that will be determined by using the clock rule or the Ampere's right hand rule. Clock rule means anti-clockwise or clockwise direction. We know that this one, the anti-clockwise means north pole and the clockwise direction means south pole. So either using the clock rule or the Ampere's right hand rule, we can determine the polarity at any end of the solenoid. Because solenoid is a cylindrical shape, it is many copper wire as wounded over that over the any iron core or like this structure. So it has two ends. So using this law, Ampere's right hand rule or the clock rule, we can find out the polarity at any end of the solenoid. And what is Ampere's right hand rule? If we grasp the solenoid with the right hand so that the fingers point along the direction of the current, the extended thumb will then indicate the face of the solenoid that has north polarity. In which direction the thumb will represent? So in this figure, you see this figure like this way. If you hold, suppose this is a solenoid. So if we hold this solenoid like this way, so in which direction the thumb will represent? This direction. So this end of the solenoid will be a north pole. So if this side is north pole, then opposite side is a south pole. Okay, so this is a Ampere's right hand rule. So either we can use the clock rule or the Ampere's right hand rule. Now, how we calculate the magnetic field inside a long straight solenoid. Long straight solenoid. This is a solenoid structure. This side is dotted, and if the magnetic lines of force coming out from the plane of the paper, then we can use the dot sign. And if it will be the normally plane into the paper, it will be cross sign. So how we can calculate the magnetic field inside a long straight solenoid? We know that the magnetic field inside a closely wound long solenoid is uniform everywhere and zero outside the solenoid. Outside the solenoid, no magnetic field is there. Outside the solenoid, magnetic field is zero. This is a cross-sectional view of a solenoid, and whatever the picture is given in that slide, you can use that one also. Okay, so here you see that the upper one is a dotted because the magnetic lines of force coming out from the plane of the paper, and the bottom one is crossed because the magnetic line of force into the paper. This is coming out from the paper, this is into the paper. Okay, so the various terms are there. Solenoid, so that is written over there, that comes out of the plane of the paper, the point mark at dot, and the plane of the paper point mark enters the plane of the paper, point mark cross. So to determine the magnetic field at any point, in any point, so first of all we choose one closed path, that is A, B, C, D. We can choose one closed path A, B, C, D. So along, this is a closed Amperean loop because we apply Ampere's circuitual law. So according to the Ampere's circuitual law, what we can write? Closed integration B dot dl, that is equals to mu 0 into I. I means the total current through this loop ABCD. How much current will passes through this loop? That will be the I, mu 0 into I. Now you see that this can be written as four paths there. One is A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A. So like this way we can write closed integration B dot dl, that is equals to closed integration of A to B B dot dl plus B to C B dot dl plus C to D B dot dl plus D to A B dot dl. So here we did not use the closed sign because A to B, this is not a closed path, this is a straight path. B to C, C to D, the A, B, C, D together is a whole path. That's why here I will write the closed integration sign, but here we did not use the closed integration sign. Okay. Now here you see that A to B, here the magnetic field B and the dl, if you consider any small part here, that will be the same direction. So the angle between them will be 0 degree. So what we can write, A dot B, that is equals to B dot B dl cos 0 degree. So B closed integration A to B dl means the length of the AB, the length of this is a L. So B into L. Okay, this is along A to B. Now here you see that B to C. In B to C, B and DL will be perpendicular to each other. So angle between them will be 90 degree. So in that part B to C, the integration of B dot C, that will be 0. Here you see that this will be 0. Now C to D path. C to D is the outside of the solenoid. So outside of the solenoid no magnetic field is there. If B is 0, then this also be 0. And D to A, this is also be a perpendicular. So it is a 90 degree. We get the 0. So only the magnetic field B 0 for points outside the solenoid, and those are the perpendicular to each other. So whatever the magnetic field we get, that is only for the this length A to B, that is inside the solenoid, and this will be B into L. L is the length of the side AB of the rectangular loop ABCD. Now if we consider the number of turns per unit length of the solenoid, that will be N, small n. So the number of turns in the whole length of the solenoid, or the length L, that means A to B. A to B, here we consider A to B, the total number of turns per unit length will be small n. So the total number of turns in length L of the solenoid, that will be N into L, and it can be represented by sometimes it can be represented by capital N. Okay, so the total current of the loop ABCD, that will be NL into I. Total current of the loop ABCD, that will be NL into I. So we can write using the Ampere circuitual law what? Closed integration B dot dl, that is equals to mu 0 into I. So B dot dl, that only for the A to B, that is BL. So BL equals to mu 0 into I. In place of I, what will be the total current? N into L into I. N into L into I. Okay. Here you see that N into L into I. Now LL cancel both sides. So B equals to, we get mu 0 into N into I. Mu 0 N I. This is the magnetic field for a solenoid. This is the magnetic field for a solenoid. So from here we can conclude that it can be easily shown that the magnetic field at the end of the solenoid, is just 1/2 of its middle. We calculate this one at a middle. So if we consider at any one end, so this will be just half. So magnetic field at any one end of the solenoid, that will be half of mu 0 into Ni, and the graph will be like this way. This is the middle. At the middle we get this one, and this is the right hand side, and this is a left hand side. Clear? Okay. So now for the magnetic field due to a toroidal solenoid. Toroidal solenoid means if this is a straight current carrying straight solenoid. Now this straight solenoid, if it will be bent and it will be form a closed ring, then that is called toroidal solenoid. Or it can be sometimes it's called anchored ring. Okay. So here we see that we see that the magnetic field B is constant its magnitude is constant because it is a circular form. So in circular form, already we proved that each and every point the magnitude of the B is constant, and is constant everywhere inside the toroid, while it is 0 in the open space interior point P. And if we consider any point outside the solenoid, then this 2 point the magnetic field will be the 0, because this is a toroidal shape. So the interior point will be the open space. So open space, that means here no magnetic field is there. And if we consider any point outside the solenoid, no magnetic field is there, that will be 0. So at the interior point means open space interior. Okay, so open space interior point and the exterior point magnetic field of the toroid will be 0. Now, so from where we get the magnetic field? We get the magnetic field on the toroid, or inside the toroid. Okay, so let's calculate this one. This is a sectional view of a toroidal solenoid. So one we considered at the interior point, another one is the outer point, and another one is the inside the toroid. Okay, so first we find out the in the open space interior to the toroid. So that means the P point, at point P. So we considered this one. Okay, so here we consider the magnitude, because this is a circular form, so magnitude of the magnetic field is constant every point, everywhere. So we consider B1 be the magnitude of the magnetic field along the Amperian loop 1 of radius R1. Here you see that this will be the radius of the first Amperian loop in a open space interior. R1 is the radius of the first Amperian loop. So the length of the Amperian loop, that will be the circumference of the circle. So L1 equals to what we can write? 2 pi into R1. As the loop encloses no current, here no current will be enclosed. No current is there. You see that? No current is there. So I equals to 0. We can say that I equals to 0. Now if we apply the Ampere's circuitual law, that is B1 L1, that is equals to mu 0 into I. B into L, close integration B dot dl, like this way, B into L we get B1 L1, that is equals to mu 0 into I. Now in place of L1, if we write 2 pi R1, and in place of I if we put 0, so what can we get? B1 equals to 0. Thus the magnetic field at any point P in the open space interior to the toroid will be 0. Next, for point inside the toroid. Inside the toroid. Okay, so here you can see that we consider one Amperian loop, second Amperian loop, this one, and its radius is R2. Second Amperian loop, main toroid is this one. This one is the main toroid. Okay, so one Amperian, first Amperian loop here, second Amperian loop inside the toroid, third Amperian loop outside the toroid. So now we find out the magnetic field inside the toroid. So this is the second Amperian loop, dotted one, whose radius is R2. So L2 equals to what we can write? Like same way, 2 pi into R2. But here you see that current is not 0. Current in a toroid, that is will be I. So then the total current enclosed by the loop 2, Amperian loop 2, if there are n number of turns is there, n into I. So like this way, n into I. Now if we apply the Ampere's circuitual law, BL equals to mu 0 into I. So what we can write? B2 or B into L2. In place of L2 we can write 2 pi into R2, and mu 0 into I in place of I we can write Ni. So B equals to mu 0 Ni by 2 pi R2. This will be the magnetic field expression. Now if we consider R be the average radius of the toroid and n, small n, is the number of turns per unit length. So capital N equals to, we can write 2 pi R2 into N. 2 pi R2 into N. So in place of capital N, if we put it over there, this one cancel. So we get B equals to mu 0 into Ni, which is similar to the straight solenoid. in straight solenoid also we get magnetic field B equals to mu 0 into Ni. So inside the toroidal solenoid, the magnetic field also be same. B equals to mu 0 into Ni. Mu 0 into Ni, because the wire is onded over this one. So due to that, we get the magnetic field inside the toroid, not the open space interior point, not the outer space. So let's see there, that one also open space exterior point, that is will be the Q. So this is the third Amperian loop and its radius is R3. So as the current coming out of the plane of the paper is cancelled by the current going into the plane of the paper. That means no current is there at the point Q. So I equals to 0. That means B3 equals to 0, because BL equals to mu 0 into I. So if I equals to 0, then B equals to also be 0. No magnetic field over there. So like this way you can prove that the for toroidal or solenoid also we get the magnetic field at the inside of the inside point, any point inside the toroidal solenoid, not the open space interior and not the outer space exterior point to the toroid. I hope it is clear to everyone. Okay, so like this way, these statements you will write any this is a very small statement. You can write just length, then the ampere circuitry law. Very small statements are there. So whenever this type of derivations will come, so just whatever the necessary statement, you write only this one. Don't explain what is toroid, what is solenoid. Like just solenoid means the form of cylindrical form, that helix form. Now what you draw the sectional view and you can explain this one. Toroid, what is a toroid? If we bend a solenoid, straight solenoid in the closed ring, that is called toroidal, then you can derive this 3. If it will be mentioned over there, then 3.3 cases you find out the magnetic field. If 1, then only the 1. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So, and next video we discuss a very important topic, that is magnetic force, Lorentz force. One force we studied in electrostatic, okay, another one we force that is we studied in magnetostatic. So next video will be very interesting topic. So if you have any problem, please write in a comment box. Have a nice day. Tata, bye bye.